Good morning again. I'm wearing the same clothes as my last video, but it's a different day, honest. And I have washed. Right, a little pair. Again, I was scouring eBay like you do one evening after a beer, and I came across these. These are another pair of Celestion speakers, and these are called the Hadleigh, and I've never heard of them. I'm very familiar with most of Celestion's other speakers, but I've never come across these before. And I saw them there, pretty cheap. Looked at the pictures, very original. The veneer is pretty good. I'll show you that a close-up shortly. Original cloth, just an original pair of speakers in very good condition, really. So made the guy a really stupid cheap offer, and he came back with something a teeny bit higher, and yeah, got them posted for next to nothing. So I thought, never had a pair of these, might be worth a look. So I'm going to refurbish these. I don't think they're going to need much doing, and do a little upgrade on them, improve them a bit, and then send them back out there. So I'll bring you in closer and we'll take a look. Right, I'll give you the dimensions first. Height wise, 13.5 inches, which is 34 centimeters. Width, 10 inches, so 25.5 centimeters. And depth, 24 centimeters, 9.5 inches. So they're nice and compact. When we have a look inside, I would imagine they're the standard Celestion chipboard boxes with teak veneer, probably chipboard front baffle. This cloth kind of dates them a little bit, really. I think they're probably early 70s, mid 70s. Actually, for original cloth, it's in pretty good nick, but it's just old, so I want to replace that. Badges are good, only held on with one screw, so I think the idea of that was to allow you to rotate them if you had these mounted landscape. This one is breaking, so I've got to be careful with that, but obviously when I'm going to recloth these, I can fix that into place or repair it, so that's okay. On the back, normal Celestion round binding post cup with these silly little binding posts that you wrap your wire around, or your crimp lug. So we can't take a banana plug, so we want to change those. What are we saying on the back? Impedance 4 to 8 ohms, nominal loading 20 watts. So yeah, okay. So I would imagine these are going to be very similar driver wise to the Ditton 15 possibly. So yeah, we'll take the cover off one and have a look. Right, so there's the cover off. The cover has a lot of mould on that cloth, so we're definitely replacing that. So this is like just a fiberboard frame, Velcro fixings. Yeah, cloth is glued in place, some staples on the corner just to pin them down. So we'll recloth that. But yeah, they're the drivers. So like I say, two-way design. This woofer paper cone in pretty good condition. The rubber's nice, no splits or anything. It's very supple, nice and free. So I might do my spray paint treatment on this, which kind of just makes it look better and probably gives it a bit of rigidity. Yes, it adds a teeny tiny piece of mass, or a bit of mass, but yeah, I'm not really worried about that. I've never really measured a difference in the driver performance after doing that, because it's literally a dust to colour the cone. But interestingly, we have a paper cone tweeter, which is about 2.5 inches in diameter. So this probably plays reasonably low. Perhaps this can't play particularly high. Whether this is the same as the woofer in the Ditton 15, I don't think it is. But yeah, I've got a few plans for this. So what I'm thinking of doing, I've done the measurements, which I'll chuck up after this clip, is replacing this with another tweeter that I've got, because this really isn't very good. And I've got these, which if you've watched the previous video on my DM4s that I refurbished, these came out of some B&W DM11s that I salvaged the woofers from. So these are quite a good tweeter, silk softone, probably about 1 inch in diameter, so we can probably run this down fairly comfortably to 2,500 hertz, something like that, depending on what we can get out of this woofer. I think this will probably be a bit lazy, so we probably want to play this as low as we can, and this should, with a bit of cabinet work at the front, fit in there quite nicely. We're going to be very, if I can move it across a little bit, then great, but yeah, we'll see what we can do. We're going to be very close to our woofer, so our acoustic centres are going to be very close. So yeah, right, let's take the drivers out and have a look inside, see what we find. Right, let's take this tweeter out first. That's a good sign. So we have they're not wood screws, decent screws. So we've got inserts in there, which is nice. This is the size speaker I really like. Yeah, they're just a nice size. Right, okay, there we go. So a completely sealed driver, obviously being only used for a high frequency. So yeah, it's quite nice. Got paper cone, reasonable magnet structure on the back. Yeah, not bad. Okay, let's give that the snip. So we got the sort of standard Celestion steel wire. Eek. So these are the clamps you would see on like Ditton 44s and 66s, things like that. The 33s, clamping down the tweeters and woofers. Right, let's take this out and have a... Right, okay. Wow, that is a dinky looking speaker. So small magnet, paper cone, stamped steel frame. Yeah, not one I've seen before. Reasonable amount of excursion there. Yep, it's all good. So let's snip this off. just out of curiosity. No, too small. Too big. Yeah, so anyway, these are okay. We can do something with those. So yeah, the tweeter I want to use actually drops in there as it is at the moment, and that's pretty good. We would have to modify the frame. Actually, it's stood off with these, so by the time the tweeter's in there, I can move these blocks around. I'm going to repaint this. That's probably going to be pretty good. Let's just drop our woofer back in there. Yeah. Okay, I think we're onto something there. That is going to be a hell of an improvement over that. Okay, so open cell foam like we see in a lot of the Celestion speakers. Decent amount of it, and the crossover is in the back here. Right, okay. Not what I was expecting to see, but good in a lot of ways. Right, I'm going to take this out and we'll have a proper look. So while we got this open, like I say, chipboard front. I think it is, yeah, chipboard at the sides as well, just veneered on both sides. Chipboard back. But it's in good condition. The moulding here is really good. There's no corner nicks or anything like that, so we can sand that back and get that looking really sharp. So we'll put new binding posts on here, spray the back black like I normally do, probably some new screws because these are a bit rusty, and just tidy these up and turn them into a nice little two-way speaker. Yeah, I think they're going to have these pads come off. See, they're spaced off a bit, so that is probably the thickness of our tweeter. I'm going to have to extend this for the terminals, but otherwise that basically drops straight in there. So that's good. Right, let's have a look at this crossover. Right, so here is the crossover, and very typical of early Celestion crossovers. Paxilin board, nice little compact board with their wound air core steel inductors. L caps, which is what we often see. So yeah, typical sort of early 70s Celestion crossover really. So this was our positive and negative in, positive and negative to our woofer, positive and negative to our tweeter. So we're coming in on our positive here, through this inductor, out to the positive of our woofer, with this capacitor down to ground. So we've got a second order arrangement on the woofer circuit, and then on the tweeter coming in through the positive, through this capacitor, which is, I can turn it round, an 8 microfarad, and then we carry on to a 4 with an inductor in the middle down to ground, and from this 4 out to our tweeter. Tweeter's connected out of phase, so this is a third order arrangement. Interesting to see a larger cap value before a smaller. It's often the other way around, but it's all about shaping the roll-off slope. So if that's what they needed to do to integrate the tweeter with the woofer, that's what you do. There is no hard and fast rule really. So what we do, we'll lift the legs up on all of these, see how they're holding up, but this is going to be redone. I'm going to keep the board. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with the same sort of arrangement but different values. Let's see. So I'll desolder these and then we'll have a look. Right, okay, so this is what we have in terms of our crossover diagram. On our woofer we got a 20 microfarad. On our tweeter we came into a 8 and then a 4. These two inductors, we don't know their value because they're not written on there, so we will test those and have a look. So we'll do the woofer inductor first. Nice big air core inductor. It's good. .58 millihenry and 1 ohm. Okay. So that value says to me that the woofer is playing up reasonably high. So let's look at the teeny tiny little inductor on the tweeter. Uh, 0.35 millihenry, 2.4 ohms. Okay. Right, okay, let's have a look at the caps, see how they're holding up. So this should be a 20. .27. So yeah, that's gone very far out. So I'll put in brackets there, 27. And we'll have a look at the 8. Um, 9.5. So quite far out. And our 4. About 5, so not too bad. Well, it is, that's 20%, isn't it? 25%, sorry. Right, okay, so the normal drift you'd expect on these old caps. They don't hold up too badly, but yeah, there we go. The orientation of these inductors isn't ideal, although they're in very different parts of the signal path for each driver. I'll probably end up laying this on its side, but chances are this value will change when we integrate the new tweeter, but we'll see. Be nice to keep this. This is quite good, and we'll certainly use this board. So yeah, all good. Incidentally, I regularly check this against 2 other meters I've got. I use DATs on my computer from time to time. I test this against known values and it's always pretty good. I think it uses like a 500 Hertz test frequency, which is kind of the standard. So yeah, just thought I'd mention that. It comes up from time to time. So there we go. So next video will be cracking on with the refurbishment and upgrading. Right, thanks for watching.